morning, the most news in the morning, period. Weekdays 6 Eastern.
It truly is a dead heat in Iowa with just 3 days to go. The top three Democrats are locked in a neck-and-neck race. We take a look at the numbers. John Edwards is leading in the latest MSNBC McClatchy-Mason-Dixon poll in Iowa, but still, as we said, a statistical dead heat. He joins us this morning from Storm Lake, Iowa. Thanks for being with us, Senator.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so there you are at the top of the latest poll. Are you expecting to win Iowa?
We've got an awful lot of momentum now. You know, I can see it in the events we have here. We have overflow crowds, a lot of energy and enthusiasm. People can't get in the door. I mean, this is what you want to see at the end of a campaign, so we feel very encouraged. What
is the strategy if you do not come in first in Iowa?
Oh, I don't have a strategy. My strategy is to make sure that caucus goers and voters in subsequent states know what I want to do as president. What I want to do as president is stand up for the jobs and the middle class in this country, fight the corporate greed that's been destroying the middle class. I mean, we've got the potential of losing 30 million jobs over the next decade, and that has to be stopped. And as President of the United States, I intend to stop it.
You know, of course, all we've been talking about pretty much is Iowa, with the exception of New Hampshire. There's been some criticism of the emphasis that we've put on that one state when it comes to picking a president. In fact, Governor of Ohio, Ted Strickland, says it, quote, makes no sense to start the process in Iowa. Now, I know you've spent more time there than any of the other candidates, the Democratic candidates. When you take a look at the numbers, you have about 2% black, 4% Latino, given the demographics. Do you think that Iowa should have so much of a say as to who becomes the Democratic nominee?
Well, the first thing I would say is I think the three leading candidates have all spent about the same amount of time here during this campaign. And the other two have spent many millions more here than I have spent. So it's sort of amazing what I've been able to do. And we'll keep our fingers crossed for Thursday. What I would say about Iowa is I think it is important, and I think the DNC tried to do something about this to bring some diversity early into the process, in the nominating process. But what happens in Iowa, what happens in New Hampshire is enormously important because you can't buy an election here. You just can't. I mean, the people who participate in the caucuses and in the primaries in New Hampshire, they see you, and they see you up close. And so grassroots campaigning and tough questioning is a day-to-day occurrence, many times a day, for the serious candidates. And that's a gauntlet any presidential candidate should have to go through. We should not be able to soar through a presidential campaign by raising a lot of money, running at altitude, and running a bunch of television ads, soundbite television ads. We have to actually answer tough questions in places like Iowa and New Hampshire. You bring up the money issue.
You bring up the money issue. The Obama campaign taking some shots at you this morning, criticizing you for railing against special interests, but allowing independent labor-funded groups to run TV ads that are supporting your bid. Do you think that you're exploiting loopholes in campaign finance reform by having those ads run in the state?
Absolutely not. I'm opposed to 527s. They ought to be outlawed. And I've said that over and over again. But the difference between me and Senator Obama is I've been in public life for almost 10 years now, and every day that I've been in public life, I have voluntarily rejected taking any money from Washington lobbyists, any money from special interest PACs, and I have made a personal commitment that in my White House, when I'm President of the United States, no corporate lobbyists will be working.
But you're receiving...
Because I think those people have entirely too much influence, and they're lobbying against the middle class, lobbying against American jobs, and I intend to put a stop to that as president.
But at the same time, these ads are running. These are people who aren't affiliated with your campaign, but they are supporting your bid, and they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to get you elected. So what's the difference?
The difference is I've called on them to stop. And I've said 527s should not be happening. And by the way, the other campaigns also have independent groups supporting them. We don't have any control over that. It's a problem in the law. We can't control it. We can't coordinate with them. But as President of the United States, I will do everything in my power to put an end to this. And actually what I'm for is public financing of all of our campaigns so we don't have this problem. I might add the other candidates are spending many, many millions of dollars, Senator Clinton and Senator Obama, here in Iowa. So they're being heard very clearly and very loudly while they complain about other things. So the real issue is not that. What Iowa caucus goers are going to decide between now and Thursday is who's willing to fight for them, who's willing to fight for the middle class, Who's willing to fight for American jobs? We've got the potential, as I said, of losing over 30 million jobs over the next decade, which has to be stopped. Many of those people will be college graduates. We've seen an erosion in the middle class. I mean, they're looking for somebody who understands that and who will fight it, and who will fight the corporate greed that's causing it.
Before we let you go, you sound like you're losing your voice a little bit. I know you've been on this nonstop marathon. Are you guys taking a breather for New Year's Eve, or are you still on the campaign trail?
Oh no, there will be no breathing. We got a lot of energy and fun in this campaign, and we don't have long to go. In fact, I'm doing a 36-hour campaign swing starting tomorrow, where we'll be focusing on the middle class, traveling across the state, doing town hall meetings, and also during the night going to see supporters who are making phone calls. I mean, we're in the final push now. We have no intention of letting up.
All right. Well, besides winning Iowa and winning New Hampshire, some of those early states, what is your New Year's resolution, your personal resolution for '08?
My personal resolution is to try to get enough sleep to function.
Well, good luck with the 36-hour marathon. I don't know if that's going to happen for you. But, hey, it's great talking to you this morning. John Edwards, thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.